I merged two great Titan builds into one so that you can survive with a group or as a solo player through any activity. All the footage of me in this lost sector is with me 18 under the recommended power level. By now, I'm sure that most of you have heard of or used the Bolt Charge Titan build where you stand behind the barricade. I've been doing that with Le Monarch, and the build is really strong. The build is also really flexible on what exotic armor you can use. You can use Point Contact Brace for stronger melees, you can use Insurmountable Skull Fort for infinite melees, you can use Heart of Inmost Light to empower your other abilities, you can use Hazardous Propulsion for a volley of rockets for damage on class ability cast. These are all the really common choices. Then I decided I wanted to try and merge two builds into one, and I threw on Strongholds, and the build worked great. So let's get into what makes this build work. We're on the Arc Titan with whatever super you want. Rally Barricade, whatever jump you want. Thunderclap Melee for quick orb generation and to proc knockout and to be amplified. And whatever grenade you want. For aspects, we need Storm's Keep for bolt charge, and knockout for buffing our melees, healing ourselves, and to become amplified. For fragments, we use Spark of Resistance for damage resistance while surrounded. Spark of Shock to jolt targets with grenades. Jolting enemies will chain lightning between them, and it also stuns overloads. Spark of Ions, because if you kill a jolted target or kill a target with bolt charge, it will create an ionic trace. Ionic traces generate ability energy. Since we will be getting a lot of bolt charge kills, we will be getting a lot of ionic traces. And lastly, Spark of Frequency, because it makes our bolt charges stack faster. For weapons, I'm using Scatter Signal with Overflow and Controlled Burst to deal with tanky targets. And in the energy slot, I'm using Le Monarch for pretty much everything. Add clear, bolt charge detonation, boss damage, you name it, it does it. And for heavy, I'm using Abyssal Edge with flash counter and redirection to go with our exotic armor of choice of Strongholds. The last thing I want to go over before discussing the gameplay loop is the artifact mods, because this season has a ton of great artifact mods that help this build a ton. I use Unstoppable Fusion so Scatter Signal can stun unstoppable champions. I use Volatile Marksman for volatile rounds, and the boost grants more class ability energy from volatile detonations. Unraveling Orbs so that when I pick up an orb, my strand weapons get unraveling rounds, and the boost makes strand weapons deal increased damage to strand debuff targets. Dielectric because it gives us more bolt charge for defeating arc debuff targets. The boost that goes with this is that rapidly defeating arc debuff target spawns an orb of power and heals a small portion of health. Disruptor Spike, which improves exhaust and sever. Malign to Harvest, which makes it so that our void weapons cause weakening burst when rapidly spreading volatile, and the boost on this mod gives us a small overshield. Flashover, which makes our bolt charges do more damage. Horde Shuttle to make threadlings when damaging an unraveled target, and the boost on this mod makes it so that threadlings will sever targets. Particle Reconstruction to buff our scatter signal damage, and lastly, Defibrillating Blast to heal us when our bolt charges detonate. In order to unlock and activate these boosts, you need to rank up your Shaping Slab all the way on both Paths, Ambition, and Resolve, and then make sure your Tome of Want is active in order to have these boosts applied. Now the way you play this build is really easy. Plop down a Rally Barricade wherever you want to set up shop, start hitting people with Monarch, and start causing bolt charge detonations, spreading volatile, and all sorts of stuff. It gets crazy real quick. And then if you get into a situation where you may or may not be dying and the enemies are being too tough, or you're in a Grandmaster and your teammates all go down, you pull out your sword and hold guard, and you are unkillable, and you can go get your res or do whatever you need to do. When you're blocking with Strongholds and a sword, it does not consume sword ammo, and when you take damage with your sword in guard mode, it will grant you restoration. And then, well, the reason why we have flash counter on our sword is because when you block damage, it will create a short range blast that will disorient targets around you for 5 seconds. And there's a lot of things from the artifact mod that will make this sword do even more crazy stuff. Remember, our sword is strand. So if we've picked up an orb, it will proc unraveling orbs, which will make unraveling rounds go everywhere, which can proc our bolt charge. And remember, we have Horde Shuttle from our artifact mods, which will make unraveled targets make threadlings every once in a while. And with the boost, threadlings will sever enemies, and because we have Disruptor Spike in the artifact as well, the sever is even stronger than normal. So by using that sword, we can keep ourselves from dying, we can cause more bolt charge, we can unravel, and we can cause threadlings, and we can sever. And we haven't even discussed the other perk on the sword. Remember, we're using redirection. And if you look here, if I hit Carl with no redirection stacks, then I hit him for 20,191 damage. But I go and get some redirection, and I come back and I hit him, and it doubles my damage for 40,381 damage, which is crazy. And that now leads us into our mods. You can boost this damage even more if you use surge mods. My mod usage here is pretty straightforward. Void Siphon to be making more orbs with the Monarch, Heavy Ammo Finder to get more heavy, Heavy Handed to be generating orbs on melee kills, Strand Reserve so that my sword and my scatter signal can have more ammo, obviously use resistances. I have Invigoration so I get melee energy back on orb pickup. I have 2 Strand Surges to buff scatter signal and my sword, and then Reaper to generate more orbs after using my class ability, and Outreach to get more melee energy back on using class ability, and Time Dilation so that my surges have more uptime. So go ahead and give this loadout a shot. It's really easy to use, damage is good, survivability is good. Like I say, the ease of use on this is crazy. So why don't you guys give it a test, let me know if you liked it. If you think of any ways that you could change things up a bit, then let me know. There's definitely other artifact mods, like the one that buffs your super, that you could play with and adjust this build however you would like. But it's super, super easy to use, really strong, good survivability, good damage. So thanks so much for checking this video out. I hope this build helps you guys, and I'll see you later on the channel.